Hi everyone, and welcome to the first herbal tea video of 2021. Apologies, there's been a bit of a delay in getting this out to you. Life has just got away from me so far this year. So today I'm going to talk to you all about licorice root, or licorice root tea specifically. So we can date licorice root back medicinally as far as 2300 BC, where it was used in China to rejuvenate men. We have records of it being discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb, although we're not sure whether this was there for medicinal reasons or something more ritualistic. And medicinally, we can date its use back as a cough syrup base as far back as Hippocrates and Pliny the Elder. So it's really well established for this. And even if you go into any pharmacy or your supermarket nowadays and you buy yourself a cough medicine, the chances are the basis will still be licorice. Now, licorice's Latin name is Glycyrrhiza glabra. Glycyrrhiza literally meaning sweet root. So there's a nice sweet kick to it. Now, we've manufactured it in Europe since 1872 for its use as antitussive and expectorant qualities. So as a cough syrup, as throat sweets and cough sweets and that sort of thing. But it didn't become an actual sweet as the way we know a licorice sweet now until about the 1920s. So that's a real modern invention. I personally don't like the sweet. Often the sweet has added anise oil in there, and I think that gives it a really acrid flavour I'm not a fan of, but I do love the root. You don't need a lot of licorice root to get a really good kick of flavour. A little goes a long way with licorice. So as well as its antitussive and expectorant qualities, which are really helpful for the lungs, so any bronchial congestion, asthma, any mucus sitting on the lungs, it's really helpful in cases like that. So it's also a really good for soothing irritated mucous membranes, particularly of the digestive system. So it's very useful in cases of gastritis, gastric and duodenal ulcers, and it's actually been shown to be just as effective as some of the modern pharmaceuticals out there in cases of ulcers, and in some cases to actually be more effective in the prevention of reoccurrence of ulcers than some of the modern pharmaceuticals we can find, which I think is really interesting. So as well as having these effects, it's used a lot by herbalists as an adrenal gland tonic, and I think this is specifically quite helpful given the era we're all living in, where adrenal fatigue and burnout is definitely becoming more of an issue, especially given the last year with a lot of people trying to juggle working from home, schooling from home, not seeing families and friends, being stuck indoors a lot more and constantly being on screens. So licorice is really good for this. It's also been shown to be really helpful in some autoimmune conditions, specifically some trials around lupus, chronic fatigue syndrome, and HIV and AIDS. It's been found to be really helpful there. And in women suffering from polycystic ovary syndrome, it's been shown in clinical trials when used with white peony to be really helpful. And something like, I think it's 6 out of 8 women showing reoccurrence of normal ovulation following treatment of glycyrrhiza and the white peony together. So these are just some of its modern uses. Obviously we can back this all up with clinical trials nowadays and evidence. You could talk about licorice for a whole day. There are so many uses. It goes so far back as a medicine and we have so much research around it now. So I'm just touching on some of the more common uses with you today. There are a few cautions to bear in mind with licorice, so it shouldn't be taken for people with renal conditions or on any sort of hypertensive medications. And some people do develop what's called a licorice hypersensitivity, but this seems to affect more the elderly and women affected more than men. But if in any doubt, just contact your local herbalist or speak to your pharmacist or GP, and they'll be able to give you a bit of advice about whether licorice is suitable for you. So any questions, just drop me a line, send me an email, I'll be happy to answer them for you. And I look forward to seeing you all for some more herbal videos throughout 2021. Thanks for your time. Bye.